Discover the incredible heartwarming journey. She posed as his billionaire wife to comfort his struggles. In the hum of the local diner, where the scent of home-cooked breakfasts mixed with brewed coffee, Emma Parker poured her heart into every smile. At 28, life had handed her more than a few heavy burdens. Since the day their parents passed away, she transformed into a fierce protector for her younger brother, Max. Every shift at the diner was a chance to earn enough to keep their little home running, her hands eternally busy, her heart always hopeful. Emma would often find solace in the moments between serving, when she watched the regulars, the farmers, the teachers, and the retirees share laughter over pancakes. It was her way of spreading joy, believing that a little kindness could help lighten the weight of life's struggles. Until Ryan walked in. Ryan Elkins, a war veteran with a handsome but rugged exterior, became an unexpected fixture at the diner. His presence sent a ripple of warmth through Emma's heart. But it wasn't just his looks that intrigued her. It was the depth hidden behind his solemn eyes, a history filled with scars no one could see. After losing his wife, Ryan often sat in silence, nursing a cup of coffee as he stared out the window, reliving battles that haunted him. Emma felt an unspoken connection, one that urged her to reach out. Their friendship bloomed slowly, like a wildflower in concrete. They exchanged stories over home-cooked meals during her breaks. He spoke of hopes and dreams deferred, while she shared tales of her struggles. With each conversation, they peeled back layers of pain, realizing they were kindred spirits. Emma thought he was getting better, that maybe they could help each other heal. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But the tide turned when whispers reached Emma's ears about Ryan's financial troubles. Often shy and reserved, Ryan had recently lost his job. The weight of the world felt heavier on her shoulders. In an impulsive burst of courage, she suggested a ruse to lift his spirits. "I'll pose as your wealthy wife." The hushed whispers among neighbors faded, replaced by admiration. They became the town's perfect couple, one who didn't belong, but who captivated hearts. Yet, the facade began to wear thin. They navigated glamorous events with the townsfolk enamored by their unreliable romance. Emma loved the adventure but couldn't ignore the truth she was weaving. With every awkward glance and side comment, she felt the tears brimming in her eyes. Would they both have the heart to reveal who they really were? As the charity fundraiser approached, they stood on a precipice, weighing ambition against integrity. The truth loomed closer, like thunder in the distance. Emma felt her heart race, knowing everything could collapse like a house of cards under malicious winds. Would they risk it all, or would they continue chasing society's shiny illusions? The answer lay ahead as the evening of truth began to draw near, leaving them both teetering on the edge of discovery. The night of the charity fundraiser was everything Emma had imagined and more. The event sparkled with lights strung like stars overhead, casting a warm glow on guests dressed in fine attire, sipping drinks that clinked and sparkled. She wore a simple but elegant dress that clung just right, a color that brought out the warmth in her eyes. Beside her, Ryan was resplendent in a tailored suit that highlighted his chiseled features, his ruggedness softened by the charm he carried. Yet, beneath the surface of this glamorous evening, anxiety twisted at Emma's insides. As they moved through the crowd, schmoozing with elite members of the community, she felt like an imposter in her own skin. Each time someone complimented their couple goals, her heart sank deeper into her stomach. "What are we doing?" she whispered to Ryan as they stepped away from a cluster of guests, each carrying their own story of expectation and success. "Just breathing. Just living," he replied, his voice steady but his eyes scanning the room. He was trying to mask his own unease. Emma admired his courage, but it also made her ache with longing. She wanted to be honest, truly honest with him and with herself. As the night progressed, guests began to gather around the auction tables filled with everything from art to weekend getaways. Laughter mingled with the sound of bids being placed. Ryan's gaze fell on a piece of art, an abstract portrayal of struggle and hope. "What do you think?" he asked, looking at her with a warmth that made her forget her worries for a brief moment. "It's beautiful," she said, her eyes lingering on the painting. It spoke of battles fought and won, the kind of message they both needed. For a fleeting second, she imagined their lives intertwined beyond this facade, what it might look like if they didn't have to pretend. But just as the thought took hold, one of the community organizers, a sharp-eyed woman named Claire, approached with a smile. "Emma, Ryan, you two look perfect together," she exclaimed, her voice ringing with genuine delight. There was kindness in her eyes, but it only intensified Emma's discomfort. "Thank you, Claire." Where Emma hesitated, the urge to come clean clashing with the fear of losing the comfort this charade had provided Ryan. "We're doing well. Glad to hear that. We need more couples like you on the committee," Claire replied enthusiastically, moving away to engage with someone else. Emma turned to Ryan, her heart pounding. "This isn't right. We're lying to everyone and to ourselves. They're happy. We're making them smile," he said softly, yet there was fragility in his tone. "But we're pretending, Ryan. I can feel it slowly tearing us apart," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Ryan shifted, his expression unreadable. The connection between them felt suddenly fragile, like thin ice waiting to crack. "What do we do?" he asked, the pain in his eyes mirroring her OW, and as they stood at the brink of truth, panic surged through Emma. The moment felt heavy, a tangible decision resting between them. Would they reveal the mountains of uncertainty beneath the glimmering surface of their lives? Just then, the auctioneer's voice boomed over the din, signaling the start of the live auction. "Next up, we have a weekend getaway ideal for a couple looking to escape," the crowd murmured excitedly, and Ryan's eyes flickered with fleeting hope. But Emma felt the walls closing in. They could either continue the facade or step into the unknown together. The weight of their choices pressed down hard, and her mind raced. What if the truth shattered everything? "Ryan," she said, taking a deep breath, ready to lay bare her heart. "We have to choose now," but before she could finish, the crowd erupted in applause as the first item sold for an exorbitant amount. Emma's words hung in the air, a fragile thread, lost amid the chaos around them. And in that moment, the two held each other's gaze, each wondering if they had the strength to face whatever truth lay ahead. What lay behind their choices loomed larger than the night itself. Would they choose the comfort of illusion or embrace the rawness of their reality? As the applause faded, Emma felt the undeniable weight of the truth pressing against her chest. Would tonight be the night they took the leap together? Or would silence win, leaving them to dance in the shadows of their own making? Emma's breath caught as she watched the crowd surge around them, the clinking glasses and laughter a stark contrast to the turmoil roiling in her stomach. Ryan's smile was still bright, but his eyes revealed a hint of strain. Did he feel it too? The growing chasm between who they were and who they pretended to be. "Emma," Ryan said, pulling her gently by the arm, "let us bid on that getaway. It might be fun, we could use a break." His suggestion was light, yet Emma could hear the unspoken plea in his words. It felt like he was reaching out to anchor them, desperate for normalcy amid their chaotic emotions. "Fun?" she echoed, her heart racing. "Is that really what we need right now?" The irony bit deep. As the fundraiser unfolded, both of them had lost touch with the reality that mattered most, their own feelings. "We can figure things out later," Ryan insisted, a flicker of hope illuminating his features. He tightened his grip around her hand, and it sent a warmth blooming in her chest. Maybe he believed that running away, even just for a weekend, could offer clarity. Emma hesitated, her eyes drifting back to the art piece, an echo of their struggles. Would escaping change anything, or just mask the reality they faced? The truth was a heavy weight that neither of them could seem to shake off, even here in this glittering gallery of pretense. But instead of unraveling, she turned toward him. If we do this, Ryan, it's not just about the getaway. We have to talk about us. There was a resolve in her voice she hadn't expected, as if finally breaking through the fog. His brow furrowed. What do you mean? She took a step closer, narrowing the distance in a way both intimate and terrifying. I mean, we can't hide behind smiles and art auctions anymore. It's exhausting, and it's hurting us. Ryan's eyes widened, a flicker of recognition passing over his face. You think I don't feel that? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Every time someone calls us perfect, it's a reminder that we're anything but. The vulnerability in him cracked through like sunlight breaking a dark sky. The auctioneer called for the next item, a luxurious stay at a coastal resort, and the crowd buzzed with excitement. But Emma's focus remained on Ryan, unraveling the threads of his facade. We have to be real, Ryan. No more pretending. I don't want this surface-level couple goals life. He shifted again, the weight of her words settling heavily on his shoulders. What if the truth, if we come clean to each other, only makes it worse? Her heart raced. Or what if understanding leads us somewhere new? Somewhere better? In that moment, the room felt both overwhelming and small, filled with laughter and joy that felt foreign against the backdrop of their escalating honesty. Ryan held her gaze, the spark of hope mingling with uncertainty. You really want to do this? Yes, she breathed, her own resolve hardening with each heartbeat. I want us to be real. Before she could pull away, Ryan stepped forward, brushing a hand against the side of her face. The warmth of his palm felt like a promise. Okay, let us start tonight. Just then, the audience erupted in applause again. Their next item was unveiled, an extravagant piece of jewelry, glistening under the lights. But Emma barely noticed. Her focus was only on Ryan and the fragile bridge they were beginning to build as they turned. Entwined in a moment of shared understanding, Claire reappeared, interrupting them. You two should definitely get involved with this piece, she suggested, pointing at the twinkling jewelry. It'll bring even more eyes to this charity. Emma's heart dropped. An enticing offer from someone who saw them as the perfect couple, both loved and envied. But Emma knew it wouldn't solve anything not for them. Ryan looked at her, desperate for direction. It was clear. They stood at a crossroads, just past the superficial facade, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. Let us not get lost in another distraction, Claire, Emma said firmly, surprising even herself. Not tonight. We're focusing on us. Claire's smile faltered. Slightly, she hesitated. I see. And as the realization hit Claire, Emma felt the weight of their choices shift. The first step toward truth was now out in the open. The crowd around them faded, and Emma turned back to Ryan, capturing the flicker of vulnerability still present in his eyes. This is our moment. But just as they stepped towards honesty, the lights dimmed, and an unexpected announcement echoed through the hall. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special surprise from one of our major donors. Emma and Ryan exchanged quick glances, their hearts beating as one. Would this surprise strengthen their resolve or further complicate the truth they so desperately needed to confront? As they held hands tightly, they braced for whatever revelation awaited. What would it reveal about their connection, their futures? The night was just beginning. The lights flickered back to life, casting a warm glow over the room, and a hush fell over the crowd. Emma's heart raced, uncertainty mixing with intrigue. Not knowing if this surprise would bring chaos or clarity made her stomach churn again. But Ryan's hand in hers felt reassuring, a lifeline in this sea of anxiety. Is this just another distraction? She whispered, glancing up at him, searching for signs of reassurance. He shook his head, his expression set. No matter what happens, we'll face it together. We have to. The auctioneer's voice cut like a knife through the tension. Please join me in welcoming a very special guest tonight. The crowd clapped, the energy palpable and electric. Excitement mounted as heads turned toward the stage, where a tall figure emerged from the shadows. Emma squinted, trying to catch a glimpse. And then she saw him, the renowned philanthropist David Harper, a titan of industry known not just for his wealth but for his charm. He approached the microphone, his smile bright and disarming. Good evening, Everyone, I'm thrilled to support this charity and to give back to a community that has given me so much. His voice resonated with warmth, instantly captivating the audience. Tonight, I want to make this event even more memorable. He paused, letting the moment build before continuing. I'm offering a 1-week luxury stay at my private villa on the coast of Italy, complete with a gourmet chef and a personal concierge. Gasps mixed with excited murmurs rippled through the crowd. Emma's chest tightened. It sounded perfect, too perfect. And, he added with a glint in his eye, the winning couple will also receive a complimentary mentorship session with my team and me on how to effectively give back to your community. This is much more than just a vacation. It's about learning to make a difference. A ripple of applause filled the air, but Emma felt a knot tighten inside her. This was their moment, the moment they desired to address their truth. But now, the allure of a glamorous getaway swirled around them, threatening to blur their resolve. Ryan glanced down at her, his brow furrowing. Emma, what are you thinking? I'm thinking that this is what we've been running from, she said, feeling the gravity of her words. The allure of an escape is not going to fix us. But what if it helps? Ryan replied, his voice edged with frustration. We could find clarity there, away from all this pressure. Emma could see the sight of Italy twinkling in his eyes. It was their last chance to evade their internal battles. But she could sense it wouldn't change a thing. Ryan, running away won't solve our problems. It's just another distraction. She insisted, determination edging her voice. We need to be honest with ourselves, even if it's hard. He exhaled sharply, almost defeated, and it hurt her to see it. The audience's enthusiasm buzzed around them like a swarm of bees, alive with possibilities. Among the sea of desire, she suddenly felt that clarity slip away. Before she could sort through her thoughts, Claire popped up beside them again, excitement evident in her voice. You guys have to bid on this. Think of what a vacation like that could do for your relationship. Part of Emma wanted to scream. The pressure from everyone around them clawed at her chest. This wasn't just about them. It was about the expectations of their perfect couple image that everyone complimented. Let us just go, Ryan insisted, his face a mixture of anguish and hope. Could be the break we need. Emma glanced at the stage, then back at him, her heart pounding fiercely. But what if this break becomes another way to hide instead of heal? Ryan's face hardened, determination merging with confusion. So what do we do instead? Bid if you want, she murmured. But I'm not sure it's the solution we need. All she could feel was the weight of the moment. Amid the chandelier's shimmering lights and the chime of laughter that filled the hall, they stood at a precipice, where longing and truth intertwined, a turning point in what they thought they knew about each other. The moment felt thick with tension, and the crowd's anticipation hung in the air like the smell of rain before a storm. As the auctioneer started the bidding, Emma's heart raced for a different reason altogether. Would Ryan choose the escape over the truth? She held her breath, waiting for his answer, hope and fear clashing within her chest. Would they take the leap or remain shackled by pretense? In this whirlwind of emotions, would they finally step into the world of authenticity, or would they fall back into the comforting arms of illusion? As the first bid was called, Emma felt the ground shift beneath them, her heart poised on the edge of the unknown. Emma's heart pounded in her chest as the auctioneer's voice sliced through the buzzing excitement of the crowd. Each bid rang out like a bell tolling their choices, an invitation to escape mixed with the weight of the truth they'd been avoiding. She locked eyes with Ryan, whose expression was a swirl of hope and fear. 2,000. Do I hear 3? The auctioneer called out, and the crowd erupted in enthusiasm. Emma felt a push from behind as people leaned forward, drawn into the promise of luxury and adventure. But all she could see was Ryan. Emma, he said softly, almost pleading. What do we do? I don't know, she replied, biting her lip, conflicted. Do we let a vacation decide our fate? He took a step closer, lowering his voice further. Could be a fresh start. We could talk without the weight of everything else. As the bids increased, Emma felt her resolve wavering. She wanted to believe that a trip could bring them closer, but doubt still nagged at her. Moments flashed through her mind, the laughter they used to share, the quiet moments of connection that felt so distant now. 5,000. Someone called from the back, and the sense of urgency escalated. Ryan's eyes lit up. See? People want this. So do we. But at what cost? Emma snapped, the tension finally breaking her composure. She was tired of running, tired of pretending they were fine when they weren't. The bidding continued, now reaching 6,000. Heart racing, she turned away from the stage. We can't think like this anymore. I don't want to escape. I want to understand us. Emma, he reached for her hand, his grip tightening as if to anchor them both. We can learn about ourselves in Italy. We just need to take a leap. It's not that simple. Tears pricked her eyes, her voice barely above a whisper. Running away isn't the answer. It's just a band-aid. The moment felt suspended in time, the clamor of the room fading into silence as they stared into each other's eyes, searching for a way to bridge the chasm that had opened up between them. Suddenly a voice broke in, full of enthusiasm. Claire was back, enthusiasm bursting forth. Why don't you both bid? You can address everything later. This trip can help. Emma felt a surge of panic wash over her. All eyes in the crowded room seemed to bear down on them, as if they were the center of the universe. Claire, this is bigger than just a vacation, she said, frustration spilling over. Are we really going to let everyone else decide for us? Ryan asked, his expression shifting from longing to defiance. What do we want? His words hung in the air, ghostly and profound. The audience roared as a new bid topped 7,000, breaking through Emma's thoughts. What do we want? She echoed, the question spinning in her head. Beneath the shimmering lights, the laughter and excitement felt far away. It was just Emma and Ryan now, standing at the edge of a precipice, staring into the swirling darkness of their realities. Do we choose this escape? Ryan's voice was trembling, unsure, yet firm. Emma wondered if they had the strength to face the truth of their feelings, slamming their hands on the table like a final bid, or backing down and walking away from it all. She felt dizzy with uncertainty. In that crucial moment, a new realization dawned within her. Maybe it's not about escaping, but confronting where we are right now, she whispered. The weight of unspoken words hung heavy between them, a secret longing they were too scared to voice, and just as she felt clarity emerging, the auctioneer's voice broke through once more, asking if anyone would go 8,000. It could be the answer, Ryan said, his eyes flickering with hope. Emma gulped, grappling with the gravity of that decision. Would they bid and allow the illusion of escape to carry them away? Or would they dare to face each other, truly face each other for the first time? It felt like everything was on the line, and every heartbeat echoed the unspeakable truth of affection hiding behind walls they hadn't yet crumbled. The call for bids continued, but in that moment, Emma and Ryan stood at a crossroads, unable to look away from the deeper question that lay beneath the surface. And then, with a quiet breath, Emma took a step closer to Ryan, the space between them shrinking as a decision loomed, one that might change everything. The weight of the moment pressed against Emma's chest as she hesitated, her heart thrumming like a drum. She couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just a bid at an auction. It was a bid for their future or the ghost of it. Emma, Ryan said, urgency creeping into his voice, please let us not waste this chance. We can finally talk, really talk, somewhere beautiful. His eyes reflected a pleading intensity that ignited something deep within her. But how could they fix what was broken by simply hopping on a plane? Their lives weren't as straightforward as a vacation destination. The laughter had evaporated, leaving only echoes of hurt and frustration. Gritting her teeth, Emma stepped back, the cool air feeling sharp on her skin. This isn't just about a vacation, Ryan. It's a facade. We be running from the real issues, and I can't keep doing that. His expression faltered. You think I want to run away? I want to fight for us. But we need a fresh perspective, and maybe this trip could give us that. Emma took a breath, weighing his words. She wanted to believe that their world could be painted anew like the sunny streets of Italy or the soft breeze swaying through fragrant vineyards. But the specter of their problems loomed large, overshadowing the glimmers of hope. The crowd continued to murmur, and the auctioneer's voice grew louder with each passing moment, urging bids upward. 8,000. Do I hear 9? Ryan's hand clenched around hers. Emma, I don't want to regret this. I don't want us to regret not taking risks. Risks don't always lead to happiness. She countered, her heart aching. The truth emerged like an unwelcome guest at the party. What if this trip doesn't bring us closer? What if it highlights our differences? What if it's just the end? The silence settled between them, a heavy pause that seemed to stretch for eternity. Then we deal with it together, Ryan said softly. I believe in us, Emma. I want to believe in a future. Tears stung her eyes as she searched his face. Would this trip be a new chapter in a love story? Or a painful reminder of what couldn't be fixed? The world around them blurred, the frantic pace of the auction fading into the background. I just want to understand you, Emma said, voice trembling. I want us to connect again without the noise of everything else. But I'm terrified that this bid won't fix us. Sometimes the things we are afraid of facing become the very thing that leads to our awakening. Ryan replied, his voice low but steady. Let us create new memories. Together. A ripple of excitement surged through the audience as they shouted bids. 9,000 rang out a new high. Ryan's grip tightened on Emma's hand. She could feel the pulse of every heartbeat vibrating in the air around them. 10,000. Ryan yelled suddenly, a surge of confidence punctuating his words. The crowd gasped, turning toward Emma with eyes wide in disbelief. What? She breathed. Taken aback, he was beaming, warmth radiating from him that filled the space between them. You felt it, didn't you? Just a moment ago you felt it too, Emma. The chance to break free, to see what we could be. Emma's heart thundered as the realization hit her. What if this was it? Not just an auction but a chance to reclaim their love. She blinked back tears, searching for the remnants of hope within her. 11,000. Someone called, but she didn't hear it. All that mattered was Ryan standing before her, belief shining in his eyes. Do we dare? Ryan whispered, that intimate question hanging palpably between them. In that moment, a shift occurred within Emma. The fear began to dissolve, replaced by a flicker of hope. What if confronting their problems through the lens of adventure could help? With a deep breath, Emma nodded for the first time since the chaos had begun. Perhaps this was more than just a spontaneous trip to Italy. It could be a lifeline, a bridge back to each other they desperately needed. Eager voices erupted from the crowd, but all Emma could feel was Ryan's steady presence beside her. Then, as if pulled by an unseen force, she squeezed his hand tightly and shouted, 12,000. The room erupted in gasps, cheers, and excitement. Emma's heart raced. What had she just done? But before she could process, Ryan turned to her, wild joy illuminating his features. They were committed now, not just to a trip, but to each other. What awaited them in the future, she didn't know. But one thing was certain. The walls they faced would have to come down both in Italy and at home. And as the auctioneer's voice called for higher bids, a new resolve washed over Emma. They were embarking on a journey, but would they find their way back to each other in the light of the vineyards, or would darkness still linger? The deeper question bubbled within her heart. As the crowd buzzed with enthusiasm, Emma looked at Ryan. Would this trip be the start of something beautiful, or just another chapter lost in the shadows of their past? Emma's heart raced as the last echoes of her bid settled in the air around them. The applause and chatter felt like a wave crashing over her, dragging her into the realization of what their decision truly meant. She looked at Ryan, who still wore that gleaming smile, a beacon of hope in the frantic ocean of uncertainty. Did we really just do that? She asked, her voice quivering slightly. Ryan squeezed her hand tighter, as if he could physically share his newfound excitement with her. Yes, we did. This is our chance, Emma. I can feel it. But deep down, a storm brewed in Emma's heart. The thrill of spontaneity was alluring, yet doubts whispered in her ear. What if the beautiful landscapes of Italy only illuminated their cracks? What if the fresh start became a stark reminder of what had crumbled? Wait, she murmured, pulling back her hand. I need to think. He leaned closer, the warmth of his breath brushing against her ear. "We can think together. We can work it out, I promise." Emma took a step back, her heart pounding. The crowd surged around them, bidding for the next trip, but she felt frozen in time. The chaotic energy of the room felt like an overwhelming specter, blurring the clarity she desperately sought. What did she truly want? A wave of nostalgia washed over her, memories of laughter, shared secrets, and moments of pure joy with Ryan. Those times felt so distant now, overshadowed by arguments and unspoken words. Could a trip, a fresh start, erase the pain of what had been? "Let us go outside," Emma suggested, her voice barely above a whisper. Ryan looked momentarily taken aback but quickly nodded. They slipped away from the crowd, through the auction doors, where the crisp evening air wrapped around them like a comforting embrace. As they stepped onto the quiet street, Emma took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the smells of approaching rain and blooming flowers. The night sky was painted with stars flickering like scattered memories, and for the first time, she felt an inkling of calm trickle into her spirit. "Emma?" Ryan's voice broke the silence, pulling her back to the moment. He searched her eyes, worry etched on his face. "Are we okay?" She met his gaze, searching for the honesty she craved. "I don't know. I'm scared. What if we're just escaping? What if this isn't enough?" "Escaping can be a form of fighting too," he replied, his tone earnest. "But we're not running away from ourselves. We're looking for a way to confront what's been eating away at us. Together." His words struck a chord, resonating within her. What if confronting means facing heartbreak? She dared to voice. Ryan stepped closer, closing the distance between them. "Then we face the heartbreak, Emma. No matter what, I want to be there beside you, through it all." In the flickering light of a nearby street lamp, Emma felt an unfamiliar energy envelop them, a sense of connection that had been absent for so long. What was this strange yearning within her? Could they really navigate their painful past to uncover a brighter future? The auctioneer's excited voice suddenly cut through her reverie. 12,000. Do I hear 13? Emma let out a shaky laugh. "This is getting crazy." "Crazy can lead to magic," Ryan smiled. "Just think about it, the vineyards, the sunsets, the memories we'll create. We can be free." With a heart still unsure yet hopeful, she looked at him, her eyes reflecting the light of possibility. "And if we fall apart? Then we'll rise together. We owe it to ourselves to try. But only if you want to." Emma's chest fluttered with every beat of hope and fear, a dance of conflicting emotions. What if this was their moment of truth? What if they didn't just rediscover their love, but their lives completely? As silence enveloped them again, she realized there was power in the unknown. This journey wasn't just about Italy. It was about finding themselves again together. "Let us do it," she breathed, her spirits lifting as she entwined her fingers with his again. "You mean it?" he asked, disbelief and delight mingling in his eyes. "I do. But we have to promise. To face everything, not just the fun parts." Ryan nodded earnestly. Together, as the roar of the auction swelled back into focus, she knew they were stepping onto a path that could lead anywhere. The thrill of it, the uncertainty, it lit her soul. Emma turned to the crowd, feeling the energy rush through her veins. Their leap of faith was just beginning. But little did they know, the journey would reveal more than they ever expected. What awaited them in Italy? Would their love blossom anew? Or would the shadows of their past linger, waiting to be confronted? Emma felt the weight of their decision settle over her like a warm blanket, igniting a flicker of hope in the deep recesses of her heart. Still, doubts nagged at her as they made their way back into the bustling auction hall. What if this trip was just a band-aid, not a cure? They mingled with the crowd, bright smiles fading into fleeting glances as her mind buzzed. "Do you really think we can make it work?" she asked, her voice trembling amidst the layered sounds of laughter and chatter. Ryan's brow furrowed as he held her gaze with intensity. "I know we can. We just need to face the truth, whatever it may be." His enthusiasm was infectious, but the shadows of their past loomed large. "I'm just scared of what we might find," she admitted softly. "What if what we felt is gone?" Ryan stepped closer again, his presence strong and reassuring. Nothing is gone. It's just buried under a mountain of what-ifs and hurt. We need to dig it out together. As they moved through the crowd, Emma glimpsed the auctioneer's gavel rising and falling, the excitement of bidding tugging at the atmosphere around them. Yet all she could think of was the journey ahead. The thought of Italy, the rolling hills, the sun set over vineyards, and quaint little towns painted a beautiful picture. But fear always lurked beneath. Ryan led them to a quieter corner, away from the frantic energy. "Let us promise each other something," he said, locking eyes with her. "No matter what we uncover, we'll talk it through. No more avoidance." His words pierced through the storm in her brain. Could this really be their new beginning? The idea danced just out of reach, teasing her with the possibility of redemption. "You're right," she replied, determination creeping into her voice. "If we don't face it, this will all be for nothing." Just then, a commotion drew their attention back to the stage. The auctioneer lifted his gavel for another round, his voice booming with excitement. 15,000. Do I hear 16? Laughter rang out, mingling with gasps from the crowd. Emma felt the energy shift, an undercurrent of collective hopes leaping forth as the bids climbed, and that moment, something clicked in Emma's mind. Maybe this trip to Italy was a gamble, one they had to take to truly explore what lay beneath the hurt. "Let us go for it," she exclaimed, her spirit lifted with renewed vigor. Ryan's face broke into a wide grin, that warmth radiating through her. "Now you're talking. Let us not just take this trip. Let us embrace it." Just then, Emma's phone buzzed in her pocket, catching her off guard. She slipped it out to find a message from an unknown number. The unease within her resurfaced as she read the words. "Emma, you need to hear what I have to say before you leave." She glanced up at Ryan, heart racing. "I just received a message. Someone saying they have something important to tell me before we head to Italy." Ryan's eyes narrowed with concern. "Who is it? What do they want?" "I don't know," Emma whispered, her mind racing. "What if it's about us? About our past?" The thrill of their plans blended with a swift current of anxiety. This trip was supposed to be their new beginning, but now a shadow loomed, one that threatened to reach back into their lives before they even started anew. As the vast crowd around them buzzed with excitement, Emma felt herself caught between two worlds, the hope of what could be and the reality of lingering questions. She took a deep breath. "Maybe we're meant to confront this now?" Ryan suggested, his voice low but steady. Emma stared into his eyes, her heart a storm of emotions: excitement, dread, longing. Would they be ready for whatever the message contained? One thought lingered in the air, heavy with implications. What if discovering the truth could either set them free or drive them apart? As doubts settled heavily within her chest, the vibrant sounds of the auction became a distant echo, the world blurring around them. Emma knew that whatever awaited them in Italy was only half the journey. The real question loomed over her. Was she prepared to face whatever truths still bound her to the past? Emma's heart thudded in her chest as she stared at her phone, the message feeling like a weight pressing down on her. The unknown sender was a ghost from her past, and just thinking about it sent chills down her spine. Who could it be? What did they want? She could feel Ryan's concerned gaze boring into her, a mix of support and worry flickering in his eyes. "Maybe we should just ignore it?" Ryan suggested, though his voice lacked conviction. He shifted slightly, the tension in the air thickening as others around them continued their jubilant bidding. Emma shook her head, determination fueling her resolve. "I can't. I need to know what this is about before we leave." The thought of running away to Italy felt exhilarating, but she realized she couldn't escape her past. "Okay, let us step outside," Ryan said, taking her hand. His grip was firm, and she squeezed back, drawing strength from him. They navigated through the throng of people until they reached the exit. The cool air hit them like a refreshing splash of water, grounding Emma's racing mind. "Should I respond?" she asked, her fingers hovering over the screen. "Do you want to?" Ryan replied, stepping closer. His presence enveloped her, a steady anchor. "If this is about us, then I want to be here for you." With a deep breath, Emma tapped out a reply. "Who is this?" What do you want to tell me? The moment she hit send, her heart raced. Was she really ready for this? Ryan remained silent, but she could see the worry lines etching deeper on his forehead. She wondered if he felt the same turbulent emotions swirling within her, this clash of hope and fear. Her phone buzzed almost instantly, and she opened the message with trembling hands. It's important. Meet me at the cafe on Main Street. I can't say it here. Emma frowned, her instincts telling her this was more than just a casual conversation. Why did it feel like a trap? What do you think? She asked Ryan, dropping her phone to her side. He sighed, scrubbing a hand through his hair. I think you should know what they have to say. But we should go together. Whatever it is, I want to be there for you. Emma nodded, grateful for his unwavering support. The thought of facing this alone felt daunting, but with Ryan beside her, it felt manageable as they walked towards Main Street. Emma struggled to hold on to the excitement of their upcoming trip. The picturesque vineyards and rolling hills of Italy felt distant now, as thoughts of what lay ahead began to cloud her mind. Do you think we're being crazy? She asked, suddenly doubting their choices. What if this ruins everything? Ryan paused, turning to her, his eyes soft yet firm. No, it won't. This is a part of facing the truth. We've been running from it for too long. Whatever this is, it's a step toward us. Taking a deep breath, Emma felt a flicker of courage. You're right. I need to know. They reached the cafe, the inviting aroma of coffee enveloping them. Emma's heart raced as they stepped inside, scanning the room for the sender. A figure in the corner caught her eye, familiar yet distant. She gasped, realization hitting her like a thunderbolt. It was someone she never expected. What's wrong? Ryan asked, reading her expression. She gripped his arm, unable to tear her gaze away. It's them. As the reality of who was waiting unfolded, Emma felt the ground beneath her shift yet again. Balancing the promise of their future and the weight of this encounter was almost too much. She turned to Ryan, her voice barely a whisper. I don't know if I can do this. His reply was immediate. Yes, you can. We're in this together, remember? As they approached the table, Emma steeled herself. One truth could change everything, but what would it reveal? Emma's heart raced as she and Ryan walked toward the table. Each step felt heavier, the air thick with anticipation. The figure sitting there looked up, and Emma froze, caught between emotions swirling within her. It was Jessica, her childhood friend, the one who had vanished from their lives after their parents' tragic passing. The familiar smile felt like a ghost from a past that had both haunted and shaped her. Emma, Jessica said softly, her voice laced with warmth yet tinged with hesitation. What are you doing here? Emma managed, her throat constricting. Ryan glanced between them, a silent reassurance in his presence. I had to see you and I have something important to say, Jessica replied, her eyes glistening. I knew you were heading to the fundraiser, and I couldn't miss this chance. Emma exchanged an anxious glance with Ryan. His grip tightened around her hand as if sensing the earthquake of emotions shaking her to the core. They had come here to confront the truth of their relationship, but now the depth of her past threatened to overshadow everything. What do you want to tell me? Emma asked, her voice steadier than she felt. Jessica took a deep breath, a nervous smile playing on her lips. I found out about your plans to go to Italy together, and I thought maybe it's time you heard the truth about everything what happened to me, to us. Emma's brow furrowed. After all this time, I thought you disappeared. You just left. The anger and hurt were hard to swallow, but there was also a flicker of hope that perhaps this conversation could bring some closure. I was scared, Jessica confessed, her voice faltering. I didn't know how to deal with everything either. Our parents' passing. It broke something in me and I ran away instead of facing it. Her eyes shifted to Ryan. And then, when I heard how you two were doing, I thought maybe you'd moved on. I didn't want to ruin anything. Moving on isn't easy, Ryan interjected, his voice calm but firm. We're still figuring things out. We just bid on a trip, but it meant more than just running away. We're trying to find ourselves again. Jessica looked at Emma, her expression pleading. I want to be part of that. I want us to reconnect, to heal together. I've dealt with my own demons, and I'm here now, ready to face it. Emma felt an ache in her heart. She had spent so long protecting Max and holding the weight of their parents' loss. Here was a piece of her past standing before her, willing to dive into the struggle. But can we? Can we really rebuild what we lost? Nothing is impossible if we share our pain, Jessica said. We can grow just like you and Ryan are trying to. Emma looked at Ryan, who was still holding her hand, his eyes shining with support. What do you think? She asked him, her heart torn. Is it worth it? It's only worth it if it's real, Ryan replied. This trip is our chance to confront everything, the good and the bad. Together. The words settled around her like a warm blanket. Maybe this meeting was what they needed to truly face their pasts. Emma turned back to Jessica, a well of emotions bubbling to the surface. I don't want to keep running anymore. I want to be honest with myself and my history. Can we really take steps together? Tears brimmed in Jessica's eyes. Yes, I want that too. We can be each other's strength. As the cafe buzzed around them, Emma felt hope pulse beneath the weight of their shared truths. Perhaps this was the moment they all needed, the beginning of a new chapter. With a newfound sense of determination, Emma squeezed Ryan's hand. Let us go to Italy. Let us surround ourselves with beauty while we mend our hearts. Ryan smiled, a warmth radiating from him that she could soak in. Now we're getting somewhere. Jessica nodded excitedly. I'll support you both in any way I can. With those words hanging in the air, they stood as a trio, united in healing. Emma took a deep breath, feeling a bond reform with Jessica and knowing that the road would still be winding, but it was worth traveling together. Let us go back, Ryan urged gently. Let us share our plans with everyone. As they left the cafe, Emma felt lighter. The shadows of their past didn't have to control their futures. The journey ahead was boundless, filled with opportunities to reclaim friendship, love, and growth. And in that moment, amid the laughter and bustling streets, she knew that they were headed towards something beautiful because they were finally ready to face it all together. The night sky stretched wide above them, dotted with stars, and as they walked on, Emma whispered, "Hear us to love, truth, and the journey ahead. Now that you've experienced this heartwarming transformation, I need you to act. You need to subscribe now to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that could inspire your own journey. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show that you want more. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this powerful ending. What did it mean to you? And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to help spread this message of hope and healing. Your support makes all the difference.